Previously in X-Men, I am Jason Lapidus.
I'm Chris Sanigan.
And we are Group of Seven Comics. Welcome to episode 171 of our ongoing live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic as we read Uncanny X-Men Supersized Annual 12 by Chris Claremont, Arthur Adams, and Bob Wiacek. Cover date of 1988. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well, thanks. I am. We had a fun weekend in Toronto, and so I think I fully recovered from that. Ready to read some X-Men comics.
I have not at all recovered from any of it. my weekend was a little inflated on either end, and I'm a tired old man at the moment, and a grateful and tired old man. But yeah, I need some rest for serious. Unusual intro today, given that we just skipped right into the introduction of you and I and what we do. And that is simply because this issue it is a fresh start, but it has some history baggage that cannot really be beautifully explained or maybe elegantly explained in a typical introduction. So it's going to need a longer intro or maybe a preface as opposed to that. But we have some things to talk about before we get to that. So I thought we'd get into it a little bit, and then we'll...
I suppose.
The issue. But everything else is okay in your world. You're good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's thank everyone for their support with the channel. Please click like with the video, subscribe to the channel, share if you can. It really goes a long way for us to get up to 500 subscriptions or subscribers. So please help out if you can. It really does help with us and making progress. Throw your comments in either the live chat here with the wonderful folk or in the comment section below if you're watching on the replay. And since we're there, let's say hello to Matters to You, who brought up a real interesting idea that I had never thought of before, that there is like a lineage, and I don't mean in the character's biography, but I mean in the role they play with their power set between Dazzler and Jubilee. Like, Jubilee is an iteration of the concept of Dazzler, just youngified and a few other things. Interesting. I hadn't thought of that before. I'd like to see how that plays out as we continue to read through. Chris Creative, hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here. Michael, hello everyone, of course. Mass, how you doing? Allie, you awesome nerd, how are you doing? Hope everyone is well. And there you go. That's nice to have everyone with us so far. I'm really excited. We sent our book off to print on Thursday. Got the proof back that night. Approved the proof Friday morning. Can't wait to get this thing in hand. Peregrines, Fights, Fiends, and Fisticuffs. Can't wait.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to have we want to get it into the hands of those who ordered. Thank you to many in the chat who did, and our subscribers. But also, it's going to be fun to have a second evergreen book at our table. And by evergreen, I just mean the fact that it's always going to be there. We had two at one point, but it was a very... that second one was a very, very limited release. So this is an evergreen product. And so to have those two books side by side at the table means a lot. It represents this one particular. It's 4 comics, multiple years of storytelling in terms of releasing them one per year ish over that time span. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And lots of good laughs in the
absolutely
creation process. We have a great affection for the stories within this book. So
as I was reading the proof, I was tickled with how much I enjoy these stories. And I know maybe that comes naturally to the creators. I don't know, but you revisit them after a time because your mind's on other things, and you revisit them. And when you read them in order from Obstacle Course, Londinium, Hunter's Moon, and Badlands, the team has grown. We get to they're each their own story. They're each their own where we were as creators as well in that time period. But they're fun to read back to back to back to back. Like they're a real romp, and I think that's what I think you and I. It means a lot to us because we're here for the fun, we're here for the adventure, we're here for the storytelling, and reading them back to back was a fun exercise.
Nice. Speaking of romps, that ties well into the issue we're about to read today. Now, a time for some preface, if that's okay. If there's nothing else we need to discuss before we get into this,
I think so.
Okay. Got my copy here. You've got your copy there. The days. Oh, look at you! Look at you with your actual.
I never have one.
Book.
I hardly ever have one. So there you go.
Special. So the Evolutionary War title heading, right? The trade or the dress on this issue. Marvel by 1988 has figured out that the crossover is a thing that is a viable marketing strategy to sell comics. They've done Secret Wars 1, which wasn't a crossover. It was a series, self-contained, essentially. Secret Wars 2 was a crossover. I'm going to just say history shows that it... Oh, you're smelling the comic? History shows Secret Wars 2 was not as well created a story, but it sold really well because it connected to all these issues, right? X-Men, of course, were in it. New Mutants were in it. Alpha Flight was even in it for like a second. Beyonder shows up at West Edmonton Mall for a moment. It's just ridiculous. So it was a huge crossover thing. And then the X-Men has done, of course, the Mutant Massacre and the Fall of the Mutants, the crossover that never crossed over. So they decide, let's do this for the annuals. Let's make the annuals a thing. Across all of them, we're going to have an ongoing story. So in this issue, there are 3 stories. There's the main one, which we're going to read, of course. There is a second story, which is purely for shits and giggles, which we're going to read. And there's a third story, which has almost nothing to do with the X-Men in any way, shape, or form. And it is just a piece of the ongoing high evolutionary origin that is in each of these issues, all those supersized annuals from that year. So we're not actually going to read it because it's not really an X-Men story, nor is it a Chris Claremont story. So we're just going to move past it. If that makes sense.
It does.
So that being said, I find a fascinating feature to this Claremont run, which is classic X-Men, right? 1985, 1986, Marvel starts to publish a series called Classic X-Men, which reprints the X-Men comics that are known as classic, starting with Giant Size X-Men #1. And this is a few years after John Byrne has now left the book. They're going back and printing those old Dave Cockrum, John Byrne issues. But Claremont has room for, 10-page backup stories in each one. We get a new cover on the first, 25 issues maybe. New cover by Arthur Adams. I think the first cover that's on Art Adams is like maybe the Proteus one. So we get a whole slew of Art Adams covers, which for my money are better than Dave Cockrum covers. That's my personal preference. You get all the John Byrne and Terry Austin and Glenn Oliver art on newsprint, as it was sort of intended. And then you get these backup stories written by Chris Claremont with like 6-7 years hindsight. So as he's developed his characters 5 or 6 years, he can now insert a backup story as to something else that was going on in their lives that informs where the comics are right now in publication history. So we're in 1988. He can put things in Classic X-Men that inform what's happening in 1988, just months before. And that is a really unusual thing. Like I haven't come across that in any other comics where the reprints are maybe more relevant for the contemporary than they are just going backwards. Like there's this additional value. By the way, how awesome is that Kazar?
Yeah.
Like holy smokes.
He's beefy.
He is so beefy. And from a drawing point of view, his Kazar's right leg, the way that knee is locked and that thigh muscle juts out, like this left such an impression on impressionable artist me. I'm 13 years old and trying to figure out how to draw anatomy from Art Adams. You know, like these images are just everything.
So you
Sorry.
bring up a good point though about the reprint and the classic X-Men in the sense and these backup stories, because if there was nothing like that at that point or to that point in terms of similar approaches to reprints. So they've had a few decades of reprint history at this point.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, who knows what the conversation was, but maybe it was a targeted attempt to be like, how do we get more sales on reprints? Well, what if you added a backup story that informs the contemporary? And so it's kind of like a must buy, right, for fans. So
I agree.
And then whether it was Claremont's idea or editorial idea, whatever it was, and again, it is unique in that sense up to this point or at that point. It's a bit of a brilliant marketing move in the sense of not just reprinting and maybe adding the new cover from different artists, but then saying, oh, there's also this 8-page backup, which gives you a little more. Gives you a little more about where they are right now.
It totally informs. I mean, just some character pieces. The Wolverine pining for Jean Grey is from this. It's not from what was in the X-Men comics of that time. So, for instance, in classic X-Men #1, there's a backup where Wolverine is on the property and he's having a beer and he's going for a walk and he kind of like follows Jean into the woods. And he drunkenly kind of approaches her. He's not going to do anything. Angel right away is defensive and aggressive about it, and he comes and barrels him over. And Wolverine has an okay reaction after they tussle a little bit, but it was a choice made in 85, 86, looking back on 75. That then moving forward, like it's always been a love triangle since then, but there wasn't anything maybe that indicated that Wolverine was sort of in love with Jean until maybe the Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah, like we read that and there wasn't anything that really came out.
No. So it's this awesome recontextualization of relationships. So I also would say that the Aurora Jean Grey one as feeling like sisters is really reinforced in the backup stories. Peter's longing as an artist and like that sort of lonely soul that he has is deeply reinforced by the backup stories. Like there are all these things happening.
It's it's also a really interesting creative opportunity, because how many creators get the chance to go back 6 years, 5 years, whatever it is, and tell more story. Oh, you know what I wish I had done? I wish I had added that. Group of 7 #1 comes out, just for example, 2017. Sure. You know what? I wish I added that one scene. We discovered a character, a person, not just a character, a person this weekend that we're like, should have been in the book in some capacity, just because it was a natural fit beyond natural fits, and just we didn't think about it. I didn't think about it. Didn't come across it at all. And now it's like, it would have been the perfect scene or something. So.
I'm gonna, in light of that, by the way, as we are nearing the end of the print run, for our Most Secret Tale, if you do want an additional page or two in there, it is something to talk about in about a month. It is,
or another flashback scene, right? Like they're 1921 in the lab.
Oh, we can. I'm all game for tweaking and playing with it. Anyway,
all this.
Ali says, when I was a kid, some of the classic back issues were more expensive than the Uncanny X-Men back issues, which, by the way, I can't imagine to be true, but I trust Ali's recall on this. I didn't get it then, but the context you're sharing now might be a factor. Hindsight stories, Arthur Adams covers. I can't imagine that. all good. I can't imagine that those classics were more expensive then, unless it was a matter of the condition that they're in. Maybe the Uncannies were in terrible condition, but you can still get a lot of classic X-Men issues for between 5 and 10, but the Uncannies are 40 to 150. Like they really range. The Byrne ones, I mean, and the old Cockrum ones.
Oh yeah. Every time we do a bit of back issue diving at shows, we come across those. And
if you are so inclined to read X-Men on newsprint, 100% this is the way to go. Like, just get them on newsprint on the classic X-Men. They are still reasonably affordable, and especially if they're a little bit beat up, it's all good. I forgot my number 21 is signed by Terry Austin on the cover. That's cool. Burns Ray says classic X-Men was my jam in 5th grade. Me too. Circa 1988. It made me want to go back to the 70s and 60s issues of Uncanny X-Men. Yeah, me for sure. I was reading Marvel Saga and the Marvel Universe Handbook and this all at the same time. So 86 through now 88. And really putting the pieces together of, okay, what is the origin of all these characters? Like, I get who the first 5 X-Men are. I get, that Havoc and Polaris come in, and there's some guy named Mimic that I'm never going to see, and these other kind of characters as it all sort of moves towards what I thought of as classic X-Men #1 or Giant Size #1. So it really was neat to see the history and how their costumes shift, and the modern X-Men on the newsstand, whether it was the Mermita ones or now the Silvestri ones, were just so different than these classic. But I never got over this classic X-Men stuff. They were really cool. CC did that again. Chris Claremont did that again in 2009 with X-Men Forever, Volume 2, not related to X-Men Forever in 2001. Oh, cool. I hope there were some good stories in there. But we should talk about the stories because they really inform what we're about to read in this annual, which is why I brought it up. So there are 2 backups. The first, in issue 21, we get this beautiful art from John Bolton. I hate his dinosaur. From a paleontological point of view, it feels very informed by old claymation movies as opposed to fossil records.
As opposed to science?
Well, it feels more like 1930s, 40s, 50s dinosaur as opposed to 80s, 90s, and beyond. But we're going to go with it because I think that's actually part of the charm of comics, is pulling from old comics. So if you're reading some old EC, like Wally Wood comics, like maybe you're going to get a T-Rex looking like this. Yeah, ugly as sin, but it's worth looking at. So we can take a quick look, if you don't mind. I just threw the pages in here. I'm going to go to a full view, if you don't mind. And I can just talk you through real quick what's here. Basically, the team has been in the Savage Land. This is their adventure where Magneto brings them to their his volcano lair. They, of course, escape and have to burrow to the Savage Land. And while they're there, they face Sauron, and it all goes awry. And this is the issue where they are recovering from their first battle with Sauron. And Peter, as you can see, he is experiencing a reaction from all the heat, and he decides to go and draw. I don't know why he has a sketchbook, but let's just go with it, everybody. And he is imagining, one thing, and the heat is giving him playing tricks, and so he realizes it's the local girls from the tribes that are living in the Savage Land, and they think he's cute and want his attention. Anyway, he hears them scream, and he goes after and sees that they're being hunted by a theropod, a large theropod of some kind, that is definitely walking like an old Harryhausen claymation kind of dinosaur, very upright. Awesome coloring again from Glynis Oliver. Like, that newsprint, it sings, and those purples and grays, they work so well. It's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So he intervenes. He's having trouble from the heat. He can't change into Colossus. He throws a big rock, hits a thing in the mouth. It knocks him into the water. He's out of commission. He comes up, and he looks like he's got blood all over him, if you're able to see that, by the way. But it should have been colored as water. He's not actually bleeding. And he finds a hatchet and climbs up that tree. This feels really like an old Al Williamson or the comic that became Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, whatever it was called. Mesozoic Age or Mesozoic. I have it behind me, but I'm not going to look back and see what it was called.
Remember that video game?
Dave Schultz. Yeah, there was a video game and a cartoon and a toy line, I think. But it spawns from Dave Schultz's comic, I believe, known as the Mesozoic Age or something like that. Mesozoic Tales. Anyway, he climbs up that tree and Tarzan's onto that thing as it bites one of the girls. and kills her, and he beats its eye out. And there's that awesome second last page there, him riding on top in full muscle glory, just yelling "No, no!" and smashing its head as it collapses into the water and drowns. And then the girls come to him and they see their fallen friend, and there's a funeral. And I'm hoping you're able to see this wherever you are, by the way. Like, I'm hoping that you're able to at least follow along. It's not so much about the dialogue, but just the gist of the story. And in the night, he hears them crying or hears someone call out, and he goes, and they want to have a mourning ceremony together. They want to have a bond since they feel like they're connected. And so the two survivors take Peter out into the woods. And he goes by Wolverine, who's sewing his costume. And we see this scene drawn by John Byrne, where he's going out for a walk with the two girls, and Wolverine's sewing, and he says no. So anyway, Peter goes out into the woods with them, and they start to have their bonding ceremony together. And that dinosaur is not dead; it's come back. And Peter pushes the two aside, and just as he's about to get eaten, he finds the strength to turn himself back to organic steel, and he snaps its neck, like while in its mouth, pushing its jaw down and up at the same time, and it kills it. It falls, and then he punches it, I guess, to make sure it's dead. Some really great art of Colossus in this issue. And they see him, and Peter has been afraid, of course, revealing that he is not quite human. Like, he doesn't know how people are going to react to him. And they take to him kindly. They think he's amazing. And one of them introduces herself as Nariel. And they have a night, I guess. And that's the end of that.
He grabs his sodas and they watch a movie, and
yes,
it's all innocent.
Sure, and fantastic. Okay, the next story. I mean, this is just classic pulp. Both stories are pulp. Like jungle versus dinosaur stuff. And then this one feels like Buck Rogers kind of adventure. With Storm at the forefront. And this is a chance, while Claremont is writing Storm as the, coming out of her punk look, got her powers back. He's been with her on that journey in real time. And now he gets to go back and write one where she's on an adventure where it's still the kind of Mother Earth, innocent, goddess on Earth idea, version of Storm. And it's neat to see how he connects those two. So in this backup, we get the obligatory, objectification of Storm as she's flying around, and she comes across a, giant sea creature, and there is a person stuck on it who was hunting, like who has the harpoon, but they're strapped to the sea beast, and Storm is able to rescue the person, and the sea beast dives deep, and Storm becomes unconscious. And when Storm wakes up, she has a nightmare. But when she awakens, she is... And also, shout out Glynis Oliver again on these underwater colors. Like, it's just perfect. It reads so clearly. Storm wakes up, and she's on an interdimensional vessel with the queen is the woman that she rescued. So she's gone through a portal, and she's back on the vessel of this interdimensional queen. And, Storm is being treated really, really well, and she shows that she can fly and realizes that the whole ship is actually a sky ship on the back of a flying wolf.
Yep, that's a flying wolf.
With cannons and stuff, and the two women form a bit of a mother-daughter bond. And there's a really nice collage page where it just shows that they go on many adventures together over a long period of time.
Okay.
Sort of dimensional trotting. I don't want to say globe trotting, but dimensional trotting adventures. And there are all sorts of, again, it really harkens back to like Flash Gordon movie serials and, King Features, like the Newspaper Syndicate stuff. And Storm is longing to head back home. And she sees that there is a statue in the queen's quarters of the queen and a daughter and the daughter is gone. And Storm is realizing that the queen is using Storm as an emotional proxy for her daughter. And she says, yeah, I've got to go back home. I'm not your daughter. But the queen basically says, but you always will be. Like, you are in spirit my daughter, and I will always love you. Here, take this amulet. If ever I'm in danger, I know I can call on you. That you are forever part of our people. Storm now has this amulet, which, by the way, I think she always kind of had one on her outfit in the original look of Storm, but it never seemed to serve a function. It almost is like it was kind of like a clasp at the cross piece of her cape along her collarbone. But anyway, she takes this amulet and says goodbye to the dog and everything, and goes back home to the moment that she left.
Right.
So it's like an inconsequential thing unless you reference it again later. Make sense?
And
then, that's next week. Let's not go there yet. Let's get rid of this.
We're not there yet.
Boom. Let's remove it. Let's go back to just you and me, man.
Talking about Genosha. I mean the Savage End. I mean the annual. What are we talking about? Okay.
The annual. Let's see what we can do here.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I don't have it in the right mode. Hold on.
Please and thank you.
Present. 1 second. Perfect.
Excellent.
Shall we dive in?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Should we just talk about that Ninja Turtles game?
Yeah, that was a great game.
I missed that game.
I know. Well, so, I mean, just to go back to one of my comments, the arcade version of Cadillac and Dinosaurs, I remember quite well. Because one would drive, one would have a gun.
That is crazy.
I know.
Now you got me looking. I got up from my chair. So it feels like there's two things. Al Williamson's Strange World Adventures.
Okay.
Feels like one of them. And the other one... it's Xenozoic. With
Xenozoic, okay.
Xenozoic. And that one turns into Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. I believe. As it gets marketed. Like best Storm ever, maybe?
It's
you know what I mean?
It's pretty good. I mean, pretty good.
He is unfairly superior as a penciler. This guy is just awesome. By the way, they just announced today that Arthur Adams is coming to Fan Expo Canada at the end of August. And wow.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest show in Canada. It's in Toronto at the end of August every year. Arthur Adams has been there a couple times before, or I should say many times before, but when we were there, he's been twice while we were there as well. And
yep, he signed me a copy of Action Comics Annual.
Yes, he did. Him and Michael Golden are both going to be there this year, and that is enough to pull on my nostalgia bone. Tug on my nostalgia bone.
We're not tugging on bones in this podcast. Okay?
Yeah, I would love to meet both those guys and kind of get whatever they're selling, whether it's another sketchbook or maybe just a print here or there. But yeah, I have an artist edition of Michael Golden's. I would love to get signed. But anyway, Arthur Adams. Here we go. Stanley presents Resurrection. Wind howls, thunder booms, lightning splits the sky, strobe splashing midnight brighter than noon. An adventure of the Uncanny X-Men by Chris Claremont, Arthur Adams, Bob Wyacek, Clintus Oliver, Tom Orzechowski, Bob Harris, Tom DeFalco is editor-in-chief. Oh, Storm's an X-Men who knows how to make an entrance.
I also like that the credits are in the wind trail.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
Oh, shoot.
What?
I did not realize that those pages were there.
Oh,
Mine were a little bit stuck together. I skipped over those this morning when I was reading this.
oh, you skipped over these pages?
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, it changes nothing.
Oh, well, let me tell you. All right.
She
All
knows how to
right.
make an entrance and an exit. In a heartbeat, she's gone. Through the abandoned outback town she and her teammates have adopted as their home, and off towards the heavens. Only Gateway sees her go. He takes no notice. This waking world of ours is merely one among the many these ancient aborigine perceives, and far from the most important. Others, however, Storm, what's wrong? Where are you go? Whoa!
Longshot, the wind, hurricane force. His hollow-boned body couldn't stand against it. It's sweeping him away. He's already too high. Even his incredible mutant luck won't save him from that fall. So how do I save him? My photon beam projects solid light as force. Since every action has its equal and opposite reaction, if I push hard enough one way, I should go flying the other just like a rocket. Hot dog, it works. Heads up in the sky, cutie. Ain't no bird, ain't no plane.
It's Dazzler!
You don't run out on me that easily, fella. But we're not out of the woods yet. I got you. But our friend, Mr. Gravity's got us. Pulse the beams to slow our descent. Boy, oh boy, this stunt isn't as easy as it looks. Oof. You okay, sweetie?
Hey, I thought saving people was my job.
That's true. But since every girl you've rescued has fallen head over heels for you, I figured I'd give the role a try and see if I'd get just as lucky.
Hey, wait, don't go any further. Awesome
No.
drawing of her. Like,
Yep.
it's very sultry. Not many artists working in Marvel at that time could pull that one off. Paul Smith is one of those guys who could do it, I think. And that shot of her like taking off,
Yeah.
photon beams as like a blast.
Yep.
Great idea, and that reads really well too. Like Adams found a good way to draw that to make it work.
Yep.
I love that she's wearing his jacket.
Yep.
They're both in their underwear. Like,
Yep.
you know, I'm 13 reading this, being like, oh, okay, you know, I get it. She's got to pull the jacket closed too, right?
She does. Because, yeah.
And all these times we've watched other artists drawing long shot, you're like, you know what? Let's just get right back to the source. This guy does a long shot that I want to read. Like, it's so funny watching him move. His hair is ridiculous, but he just seems to put a little love into the like long shot as a cartoon character.
His hollow-boned body.
Yeah, he's got hollow bones. It's fun.
And I think great creative use of her power set too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right.
Fun. So I thought this is where it went right after we saw Storm goes
That's a big
and
miss. Or maybe it doesn't change anything, but
it doesn't change anything. Look, there goes Rogue after Storm.
Just my luck. Come on, babe. Guess we better get dressed and find out what's cooking.
See what I mean? It's just like, oh, it's them naked outside or naked out the window.
Right.
Didn't change anything.
Storm's really rolling. Ain't a sign of her. Must be royally upset too. Weather tends to reflect how she feels. And there's one heck of a thunderstorm building behind her. Yo, Psylocke, can you hear my thoughts?
Loud and clear, Rogue. I've established a solid side link between us.
I'm going the right way, Betsy.
I cannot say. I'm in mental contact with Aurora, but she's ignoring my calls. All I can glean from her is a tremendous rage and an overwhelming sense of urgency. Whatever is driving her is a primal force that cannot be denied. What do you think, Wolverine? Nothing worth noting. This computer center's your playground, Madeline. See if its sensors can tell us anything.
Hey guys, It's pretty hairy outside. Gonna be a bit of a storm. That is storm's doing, Avik. We are trying to discover why.
Weird to put the word storm so close together twice. Like it could be
Well,
gonna be a butte of a choose something else.
yeah, I was gonna
Butte of
say
a
that's where you
mass.
ellipses maybe, and you storm outside, like
Yeah. It's fun. Like Madeline has become the guy in the chair, as we take that terminology from Spider-Man: Homecoming, like calling people now the guy in the chair. But it could have been anybody. This could have been Kitty Pryde still on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Could have
Um,
been Doug Ramsey.
it could have been Doug Ramsey, lots of other characters, but then you look at the way Silvestri drew this space, and Adams just takes the details to another level.
Yep.
And he's on the verge of it being too much. Like there's so much to look at. And if this print gets any messier, foreshadowing. If this print gets any messier, we won't be able to see what's going on as clearly. But I find this is still quite crisp.
Mm-hmm.
But really gorgeous. Tell me all about your freedom stick. Did you have one?
You know what? I never had a freedom stick. Did you?
All right. Well, I borrowed one.
Okay.
From my future brother-in-law at the time.
Oh.
Laura's brother, Laura, my wife, her
You borrowed your brother-in-law's freedom stick? What'd you use it for?
He had one that I think he had bought used somewhere, and he's like, like he wasn't playing with his Nintendo. It was the late 90s. Like, we were playing it like for nostalgia purposes, right?
Sure.
And so he loaned me the freedom stick, and
it's a good brother-in-law.
It's such a cheat toy.
Okay.
Because you can like rapid fire by holding things down. Like you can.
So you're just gonna destroy in Contra.
You destroy any game you play.
Right.
Yeah, it was wild. But being able to play remote, like wirelessly, was really, really great. But yeah, and having a joystick instead of a thumb, pad or whatever, it was fun to use.
Okay.
Anyway, anyone else out there ever use a freedom stick?
Just add it to the chat.
Thanks again, Jonathan. That was really nice of you. I cannot vector rogue to Storm's position. Aurora's blocking me. I can't pick up any navigational benchmarks from her mind. I sense her, not where she is. Madeline. Psylocke, relay this to Rogue, please. Positive track. She's passing Melbourne. Wolvie, I've never seen Storm move so fast. I didn't know such speed was even possible. She's generating her own high-altitude jet stream. I'll punch up a holographic display. You see this getting a little messy, by the way? The colors are starting to slip. And it is just a little tough to read. Look at the bottom of that third panel. See both the yellow and the magenta plate are just a little off. And so we're getting a little bit of bleed of what is red because you put those two colors together. Coming below the panel borders. So it's getting that one's a little hairy. A little tough to read.
Mm-hmm.
I'll punch up a holographic display so we can project her course.
This hardware adds a whole new dimension to the term state of the art. Wasn't so long ago it was all run by the crooks who used to be based here.
Make you nervous, boy, using their equipment?
You betcha.
I'm going to assume this is Madeline without me reading ahead.
I think it's, you mean, not Madeline.
Is it Psylocke?
Looks like Psylocke.
Okay, yeah. Storm's headed south. She has a formidable lead, Rogue, and considering her speed, it's doubtful you can catch her. Wolverine wants you to follow and back her up should she encounter any trouble. The rest of us will rendezvous with you at the other end.
Even if you've guessed right about her destination, Antarctica is a continent. How do we know precisely where Storm's going?
Only one place on that heading makes any sense, darling.
The Savage Land.
The Savage Land. The Savage Land.
The Savage Land.
So this page I found is just getting a little tough with all that color and detail, but I wonder if it'll,
But I
give
bet
some
if you saw
easy
the
pages
original,
to-
like pencils and inks and like an essential, look really cool.
shoot.
Do you
Maybe
have
I
it?
want to. I'm sure I do right over there, but
Hmm.
I'm not looking at it.
Obviously, it would look less muddy just because to your point, the color template's a bit off.
It will be crystal clear.
Good.
I do have an essentials over there, but I did not think about picking it up. I
Same
did
as you.
pick up though
Yeah.
my Arthur Adams Art of the X-Men book, and unfortunately, all that's in it from this issue are reprintings of these colored pages, not the inked art.
Right.
So be it.
So be it.
As soon as everyone's appropriately dressed, note, of course, that Wolverine is unmasked.
And wearing a parka.
Yes, Antarctica talk.
I mean,
That's
true.
fine, but I wonder if this is an Arthur Adams choice to just get him out of that mask.
Well, he does his face so well, so
yeah, his Wolverine face is unique. Maybe in August we'll get a chance to ask him.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. First thing, just as soon as he sets up, which
Art.
he's pretty generous with his time before. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, he was very kind to me for sure.
To be honest, I think I liked it better when the X-Men flew a plane from place to place.
We all possess extraordinary powers, Havoc. Why should gateways bother you more than, say, mine?
The problem is, Psylocke, it bothers me just as much.
I don't mind a bit. Life is tough, boy. We're X-Men. We cope.
Give me a break. Sometimes Wooly's muty macho can be such a pain. There has to be a better way.
Right there is your connection to Jubilee, right? Like that kind of back talking voice.
Right.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, we've got a troll. Is this issue after 200? I'm out. Okay, Chip. All right, Chip.
Chip, you know it's after 200. Come on.
Will forever be after issue 200. But come on, Chip. Art Adams, man. Right? Art Adams. You got to love it. Bye, Gateway. Hope you won't be too lonely till we get back. He stops spinning his bull roar, and instantly his blazing bonfire beside him reverts once more to smoldering coals. And the portal closes, silence and solitude returning to this eternal place. Look at that. He untrollified. Glad you're here, Chip. We miss you. At least I miss you. I don't know about Chris. As though the X-Men had never been. But the fact is, they have. And even Gateway has found himself touched by their passing. Meanwhile, roughly 4,000 miles down and to the left on any self-respecting map. Remember how I've talked before about scale?
Sure.
Man, come on, look at that.
I thought you were going to talk about cartography and like the history of it and like a
self-respecting
Eurocentric view of the of the globe.
I feel like it doesn't need to be said sometimes. And this is one of those times back to the comic where unfortunately the production, like these pages did not get aligned nicely.
No.
They're off.
They're off by a significant, like you got your print copy. Yeah, like that break, you see how the page on the right is a bit higher.
Oh my gosh. So the one on screen is probably a little worse than the one I have in hand.
Mine's still bad though. I mean, the one
it's bad. I mean, it's
bad.
Maybe a fifth of an inch off. Like it's significant.
Yeah.
It's significant.
It's the kind of thing that we would just eat as if a print came back. We said, okay, we're indie comics makers.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? But Marvel, come on.
Yeah, it's pretty stinky. What the flamin'? The Savage Land. It's gone.
Perhaps Comrade Gateway teleported us to the wrong place.
No such luck. I recognize those mountains.
This used to be a prehistoric jungle. Well, it's an icebox now. Could you hold me, Longshot? I feel cold, like I'm in a giant graveyard.
Sheesh. Chances are, Daz, you're probably right. This used to be the village of the Fall people, friends of ours. Land's been burned, scoured down to the bare rock. We need to know what happened. Longshot, can you use your psychometric power to read the history of this bone? And maybe tell us how the person it belonged to died?
Ugh, gross.
Could be rough. Psylocke mind link with him to buffer him against any psychic backlash shock.
So again, we encountered this psychometric experience or power set from Longshot a few issues ago, around the holidays when they find themselves in the outback and they come across that horde of stolen goods.
Yeah, like booty.
Right, booty.
It is a strange power to, like, it feels randomly placed within Longshot's.
It really
power
does.
set.
It feels convenient.
Right.
And also, but we were chatting about Longshot, in our opinion, up to this point, not really bringing much, aside from the odd daring do and saving, a bit of his acrobatic, the kind of Nightcrawler-esque type approach to things. But they give him this power set, and suddenly maybe it opens more opportunities for storytelling.
Especially if they're dealing with mysteries.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Although it does feel like it's right in Psylocke's wheelhouse.
It seems strange it's not Psylocke, given the telepath is on the team. But
Ooh, Michael says, doesn't Snowbird do it too? Yes, she does.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has one, I think, that might involve not objects, but maybe it's sort of like events that have happened there, like spiritual things.
Okay. All right.
And again, I could be totally wrong. Michael, it's been a long time since I've read any description of Snowbird's powers, so feel free to it be informative. But yeah, I think she does have some sort of psychometric power, if that's even what we're going to call it. I do like the idea that they are. Can you imagine if instead, like, if they are now going to be this world investigating, hunting down their enemies kind of squad, that there are roles to play and each person plays a specific. Whoop, you okay?
Oh yeah.
You didn't drop any
Top the book.
there? Okay. So they need a scout, they need a sniper, they need all these different things. So yeah, having your precog, having
a poet, a painter. Oh wait, we're talking about our book. Oh,
right.
There we go. Group of 7, most of your tale you can get from our website. There you go.
Thanks, man. Well done. Include us in the report as well, so we can all see what he does. It's an ordinary day. I'm hunting, thinking of my life mate, Fahi. How do you want to pronounce that? Fahi? Faye?
Yeah.
Sure. Thinking of my life mate, Faye, and our baby, our first, soon to be born. Surprise, sudden great confusion, a stampede, the like of which I've never seen. And there you get like Arthur Adams drawing dinosaurs, which is perfect.
Cool.
I mean, unbelievable what he draws in there.
Unlike the dinosaurs that you showed us in that backup story.
No, not like the John Bolton stuff. He's got a theropod there. He has like a 2-legged meat-eating big dinosaur in the middle of that pack. And it looks to me from here, it's 3 fingers, which would mean Allosaurus, maybe. But the fact that just the way that the skull goes is so excellent. The use of the tail in 88, it's up, right? It's not that really antiquated look where tails are dragging on the ground. He's got them up and running. He's got it 2 duckbills there, like Parasaurolophus with the long crest on the back of its head, like really, really clear, like an Oviraptor. Really neat. Like he's just so good pulling from references, and I think he really loves drawing dinosaurs. And we see that in his career still to the day, right? With his drawings of Godzilla and everything. Not that that's a dinosaur, I know, but you know what I'm saying. He loves drawing these kinds of creatures. Amazing. Amazing. Terror. A giant has entered the Savage Land. A monster whose skin gleams like that of our outland friend, Colossus, crushing all in its path without hesitation or mercy. And there we see people running. They were, what were they called? The Fall People?
The Fall People.
And we see, the men and the women with that awesome mohawk that they're sporting. I see a character I recognize from later in the issue, of course, like well placed, but very, very cool to see. Desperation, flight, race against time to save as many as possible. Despair yielding to the smallest hope. Fire! The world is aflame. I burn. My wife, my child, I die.
Easy, babe. That was just a dream. You're okay. No.
Memories.
No real.
A boy, a girl, a smile, a caress.
No.
Joy.
No.
Turned now forever to ashes. A stranger named Dave Pretorius says Art Adams does some good dinos.
Well, that's your opinion, Dave.
Yeah, if that is your real name.
Jeez.
I met a guy who did this comic book where his son told the whole story about a dinosaur that had to fight a kaiju, and it was a crazy romp that the son made up, and the dad, who is this awesome artist, just drew the whole story. Actually has the guts and the talent to draw an entire story that a little kid told him. And it's called Kaiju Panic. And if you follow Red Eye Draws, is that what it is? Is that your handle, Dave? What's your handle on Instagram? Red Eye Draws? Yeah, Dave. You know a little bit about drawing dinosaurs and drawing some great ones. So yeah, you come off as an authority on this on Arthur Adams' credentials for drawing dinosaurs. You're up there. Yeah, at Red Eye Draws on Insta. Check it out. I hope that maybe there's still a few copies of Kaiju Panic left. If not, no fear, everybody. Just grab a copy in addition to grab a copy of Red Eye Ronin, which I picked up this weekend, and I cannot wait to reread. My goodness. What a guy. Former guest on the show, hopefully future guest on the show, Dave Pretorius. What are you doing here, man? Go to bed. All right. Or go draw comics. Peter's taking this hard. Among the Fall People was a girl who was special to him. I know. I was there, even from the bushes.
Oh, no.
I was watching.
Oh, no, Wolverine, no.
Permanent fixture in the bank, folks.
Jeez.
From the look of the terrain, this happened months ago. Doubt it could be what put a burr in Storm's backside. Put out a psi call, Betsy, a homing beam to draw Storm Rogue to us, and scan for any other thoughts as well.
Survivors, Wolverine, of that Holocaust? Man, you've got to be kidding.
Anything's possible, boy. That life essence longshot scan was acting like there was a way out. Human beings, a surprising animal havoc for so essentially fragile a critter. It's got a real knack for pulling through the toughest spots.
Hey, is there a time where Wolverine will stop calling Havoc boy?
I hope not.
Okay. Just checking.
It just adds to the rhythm when he's speaking.
It does. It's just it's funny. It's just
we've been reading Claremont now weekly for a couple of years, and he has a cadence.
He does.
Certain characters have a rhythm. Wolverine definitely has a rhythm to the way he speaks. Ever since, I would say, Frank Miller's limited series like that one solidified to me the way he speaks and that inner monologue from him and everything. I still absolutely clash with the way Claremont writes sentences. Like, they do not flow. He puts commas and like he inserts secondary clauses and like all sorts of things.
like he could do with an editor. Oh wait, there is an editor. So why aren't they doing their job? That's what I would.
No. It reads fine while you're reading silently, but I find reading aloud, it definitely it bumps up against the way I want.
I thought these are all meant to be read aloud to groups of people. They're all written that way. Okay.
Here's a pose you don't usually see Colossus in. Look at that.
Squatting.
Great. Yeah.
The squats. Once, Dovresh, I would have believed that and hoped for the best with all my heart. But this land is dead. Its people dust. One cannot offer what cannot be.
Two thought patterns, Wolverine. Human yet beyond humanity, and of such power, they beggar description. Rumble, 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 rumble.
Cripes. It feels like the world's tearing itself apart.
Earthquake.
Hey!
X-Men, this is the summons Storm's responding to. It isn't a natural occurrence. It's an attack. By the way, this version of Colossus, the way he draws him, this was the epitome for me at the time of like, this is what Colossus should look like. I only wanted to draw him. I didn't want to draw him in his old John Byrne, or actually I should say Dave Cockrum suit. I liked him like this.
Circus strongman. I mean, that's the vibe I get, right?
Yeah, with the way the belt sits too, but just his proportions. Like he is moving into extreme, like he's a caricature, and I was really drawn to it. Like the heavy wrist bracers, and I thought he looked so cool. Do we need to talk about the High Evolutionary for even a moment? Like, do you need any background? Want any background?
Well, maybe a Cole's Notes quick version.
Here you go.
Yeah,
a character beginning in Thor comics back in '66, I believe. He is a Lee and Kirby creation. So, you get some awesome elements of Kirby in his design. And then I think the premise of him is sort of like a high-tech Dr. Moreau.
Right.
So what if you took the island of Dr. Moreau, made it a science fiction character with future tech, and he is neither good nor bad. He just has his own agenda.
Right. So, all elements that are part of the character's the character as portrayed in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 from the MCU.
Yes. Right. And I always feel to me like he is another kind of, not exactly in line with, but he can be at any time a Doctor Doom level opponent.
Right.
Because he has his minions, he has his castle somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Is that Wundagore?
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. He's, under a mask. We don't really quite know what or who he is beyond that. So for a long time, he bounces through Marvel Comics in that. So after Lee stops writing, like Lee's, I'm just going to say protege, a guy named Roy Thomas takes over not only as editor-in-chief, but also as sort of the lead writer on a lot of the Kirby, or sort of a lot of the Stan Lee, formerly written Stan Lee books. And so High Evolutionary passes from a villain from one book to another. So he'll appear in the Avengers, and he'll appear, he'll bounce to X-Men eventually. And I don't know if there is really a natural fit for him anymore. Mm-hmm. Like by this point, he kind of is a villain of the week in a way where he's no one's arch nemesis.
Right.
But he can come up with a situation where he's going toe to toe with anybody, depending on if his needs conflict with somebody else's.
Right.
And there is a Marvel Legends of him that came out about 3 years ago.
In
Just
this, like this?
Yeah.
Cool.
He's just a little too red.
Okay.
It's not enough of that magenta. It's a little too reddy, and I did not get it because I just don't care about him as a character.
Right.
So I do have a bias of ambivalence towards him.
Fun Easter egg connection to X-Men comics from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, for those who have seen the movie. In it, they reference the Ani-Men, who, of course, we know from Giant Size X-Men.
No. It's the issues right after Giant Size.
Issues right after, right?
Yeah.
Where they go to the mountain base.
Yeah, like
actually the death
95.
of Thunderbird, right?
Correct.
Right. So the Ani-Men, including Croaker. Croaker, we loved Croaker. Dragonfly, and there was a cat one, a gorilla guy, and something else.
I think the cat one's name was Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect.
So silly. Michael says, didn't they try to tie him into Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's origin at one point?
Well,
great point. We will go through the backup at the very end. We just won't read it, but we'll just point out that element. We'll talk about it.
And isn't it, again, sorry, these are the connections that I have to films. In Doctor Strange and the was it Multiverse of Man? I'm like Worlds of Madness, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Multiverse
Scarlet Witch is in Wundagore.
Yeah, it's like a mountain.
It's like a mountain temple thing.
Exactly.
That's right, Multiverse of Madness. So there you go. Anyway, just drawing some connections there.
Thank you for drawing those connections.
I'm happy to.
Not so long ago, not so far away, strides a man who, once upon a time, was like other men. He liked to be with other men, stand with other men, at the urinal
with other men,
gardens, be at the trough.
Use freedom sticks.
A modern Prometheus with an unquenchable desire to unlock the secrets of life. And that is a very good description of the character. His quest took him to unimaginable heights and abysmal depths, and like Prometheus, he paid an awful price for his ambition and enlightenment. Also, like Prometheus, he doesn't care. He is the high evolutionary.
Okay. Do you have a preference of high evolutionary or terminus?
I'll happily be terminus.
Okay. I'll have to figure out a voice here. Just
do British something.
Sarcodes sanguinea, by the eternal, a snow plant. My guess was right. My hope justified. This earth is ravaged but not barren. With work, with care, the savage land can be restored. What the devil?
Wham. Do you know how long it would take for Terminus to get under the ground?
Like a long time.
Yes.
That's my answer.
You thought me slain, fools. Now learn to your peril how wrong you were. For no world can escape from, nor any power stand against the wrath of Terminus. But then...
A beam of solid light. Are the natives of this pathetic... Oh, no, sorry, it's you. I love reading these cold. It's great.
A beam of solid light. Are the natives of this pathetic planet still determined to match their puny might against mine?
We sure aim to give it the old college try. He's too big. I'm pumping every photon I can through this beam, guys, and it's doing nothing.
Evidently, you haven't yet learned your lesson. Allow me to remedy that oversight.
Behind me, Dazzler. Yikes. Thanks, Colossus. That can even his armored body endure this punishment for long? Dazzler's force beam didn't faze him. So let's see how he likes my ultra energy plasma.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Perhaps I can mind shock. No! Psi shields built into armor, reflecting my attack back at me.
So much for that bright notion. Creep doesn't even look scorched.
I've got an idea.
Do you think to trip me with your line, flea? Or perhaps tie me up?
Neither, villain.
Ya knothead, what are you doing? Why'd you grab me? He's pulling us both into the air.
Uh-huh. This way we get to take the fight to him.
Not bad, kid. You're starting to think like me. A wasted effort, fleas. My armor is proof against your primitive weaponry. His blades, maybe, but nothing can withstand my adamantium claws. Irrelevant. When my self-repair systems can close your cuts almost as soon as they are made. Ugh. You fleas have annoyed me long enough. Now, die for it.
By the way, I just love the repetition of fleas. It's just, okay, we get it. Not if I can help it, chum. Really consider y'all to start the rhubarb without me. Rest assured, young lady, next time we'll know better.
First, my prey is torn from my grasp. Now I am assaulted by a planetary atmosphere. What transpires here?
Your presence is your presence, your very existence is an obscenity to Mother Earth, a violation which shall not go unpunished. You have sown the wind, monster. Now reap storm's whirlwind.
This is impossible. I'm being blown off my feet into the cliff wall. Ah!
Matters to You has a comment here. Since he helped into Havoc, does he get preferential treatment? Don't know if Havoc was not an X-Men member at the time of this annual. Oh, since he introduced Havoc, I'm not sure. He's a member of the team for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he doesn't get preferential anything. He seems to. Some issues they don't do anything with him. Other issues they do. It's kind of weird. There are a lot of teammates. I think like eight might be too many. And then Madeline, right?
Exactly.
Even as the dust settles, it's high evolutionary.
It is, yeah. That's it. Yeah, the next, the word cloud that Storm says was. You see how it just was confusing me for a bit there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. My thanks, friends, for your timely intervention and rescue. I am called the High Evolutionary.
A familiar name
that ain't been heard in a while. Rumors had it you're dead. Oh, Wolvie, have mercy. Not again with those cigars. They were in error.
Maybe so. Maybe not. Body can claim to be anyone from behind a mask.
In the final analysis, friend, what matters is not my name, but my purpose in coming to the savage land.
Which is?
To restore it to the beauty and glory it once was. Are you serious? Is that possible? If I've learned anything in my life, young man, a.k.a. boy, is that everything is possible. Our very existence, simply as human beings, much less superpowered ones, is proof of that. What I wouldn't give to see, no more than I would to show you, lad, a.k.a. boy. My installation is nearby. Any or all of you are more than welcome to accompany me there.
If you wish to accept this kind of invitation, Alex, I have no objections. Storm doesn't trust him. That's why she's sending Havoc to keep an eye on him. I don't like him either. He's hiding more than his face. Whoa, my feet on slippery ground, falling. Wow.
Nice. Did you put your finger in your mouth for that one?
No, I do over the lips.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really cool.
For Havoc, one wild and woolly ride later.
That's your installation? Nothing to compare with Vundagore, but adequate to the task at hand. As is this fly cycle. I'm impressed. So was I once. In those days, I tinkered with machines, tuning cars and bikes to the utmost peak of performance, and then putting them to the ultimate test. But no matter how good the vehicle, I was always limited by the body's ability to control it. So it seemed a perfectly logical, natural step from the technological machine to the biological one. To improve the one, I had to improve the other. Prove the other. How simple that equation seemed. How little I understood the consequences of such ambition. You see, with my mechanical experiments, mine was the only life at risk. Playing with life affects innocent lives, and too often destroys them. He sounds like Professor Xavier, the X-Men's mentor. Two men, driven by insatiable curiosity and desire to make the world better, each tormented over any failures, and the price paid along the way.
So his fly cycle, I believe, if memory serves, this is the same technology as Hawkeye's sky cycle.
Right.
That he rides on, especially with that latest Marvel Legends came out last year in the Avengers it's like mini wave.
Mm-hmm.
Even 2 years ago. But yeah, that thing that he rides in the comics.
A man could do worse than be cut from that same cloth. Easy to tell yourself the end justifies the means. Impossible to believe, though, when you look through the eyes of those who suffer as a result. Better to think instead of those who will benefit. But no such conflict exists in this case, sir. Does it? Allow me to present my assistant, Zala.
Greetings, Outlander. If my lord calls you friend, then so shall I.
The pleasure's mine. The evolutionary's always been more myth than man. Is that why Storm doesn't seem bothered by him seeing us? Does she figure he won't recognize the X-Men? And Zala, the way she's looking at me. I wonder if we've met. Doubt it. I remember someone as striking as her. I've amassed all the critical elements for the land's restoration. All I lack is the focused catalyst necessary to trigger the process. A living being, preferably a mutant, whose primal nature is in sync with the land's. The way you phrase it, I can think of one person who fit that bill perfectly. Unfortunately, so far as I know, he's dead. I suspect that happens to the best of us, lad, more often than we suspect.
That is weird.
It is weird. Huh? Longshot? Storm, everyone, he's gone. Maybe he just wandered off is all. He does that, you know?
I can't scan a trace of his thoughts. But between them, the high evolutionary and terminus generate so much psychic static. My telepathic powers are severely limited.
Kid left a trail. I'll follow it.
I'm coming with you.
Flaming lovesick songbird.
Stay in contact via Psylocke Psylink. We will be with Terminus.
How come?
Oh, shoot. Okay, never mind. I want Betsy to scan the giant.
Aurora, you buried him under an avalanche.
When the Fantastic Four first encountered him, they supposedly sank him to the center of the Earth. He survived that. Why not this? Best to take no chances. Probe as deeply as you can, Psylocke. For any weakness we can turn to our advantage. If you can deal with him yourself, so much the better.
You know, boss, I'm thinking I read somewhere about Terminus is being killed by Hercules in the Avengers.
That report was evidently in error.
I suppose so, but there can't be two of them.
Elsewhere,
Where can he be? We can see for miles, but there isn't a sign of him. How can you possibly follow his scent? Smoking those El Disgusto cigars.
Practice. It's a strong, clear trail. Trust me, Allie, we ain't for...
Wolvie! Eek!
like he's great at these little body language pieces.
Yeah.
You know, like I think we often think about his detail work and heroic posing, but his acting is actually really
That rogue in that last panel, just like standing with their arms crossed. Great.
Yes, and unfortunately, if you look at the details of how the colorists cut that red piece of color, it doesn't follow the details of his line art at all. And that's one of the tricks with a lot of big-haired characters is they get blobs of color on their head as opposed to something that reflects the intricate work done by the penciler and inker. So that is some crazy 80s hair on Rogue for show.
It's great.
Yep. Huh? My cameo crystal. Glowing.
I believe it's pronounced cameo.
I've actually been to the factory, like cameo. Like
that.
Really? Yeah.
Oh,
It's
cool.
not far from Pompeii. And
Okay, sure.
It's the same bus ride from I guess I'm trying to remember where were we in Naples, maybe? Not far from all that stuff. My cameo crystal glowing. But with the land destroyed, I thought, Rogue, stay with Psylocke. Something has happened back with the others. I'm needed there.
No problem, boss. We'll be along ourselves directly. I hope.
I'll be as quick as I can, Rogue. But Terminus's shields are so powerful. I'm afraid it will take some time.
I understand. Just makes me nervous as all standing in his shadow. It is asking for trouble.
Allison, what is wrong?
It's Wolvie. 1 second he was there, the next he vanished. Did you try to follow? What do you think? I'm crazy?
Eminently sensible. But I believe I know what happened and where both he and Longshot have gone.
A portal.
A junction where the walls between dimensions are especially thin. This crystal opens it.
Boy, Shimoy. Storm Dazzler behind me at once. Something's coming through.
Calm yourself, Piotr Nikolaevich.
Jimmy?
Jimmy? Jimmy? What do you want to go with? Or K-Jime?
K-Jime?
Kajime? Kajime and I are old friends. Are you well, you soaring sky boots, sky fox?
The better for seeing thee again, small wind rider. That's my Falcor voice.
Nice.
Nice, right?
Remember when he laughs and it's
Yeah.
all creepy as hell?
Oh, Bastion. That's some dog. Incredible. He carries a ship on his back.
What did I call him?
Giant?
Kajim. Kajim is a warhound. On his world, the sky is his domain, as the forest is for his earthly wolfen counterparts. We met during the X-Men's first visit to the Savage Land, as told in Classic X-Men 22.
Remember, folks, we talked about at the beginning of the show.
Remember?
Nice job. Nice job, Jason.
It's as if it was written almost to make this make sense.
At the exact same time.
Do you want to be the queen?
Sure.
Okay.
Hail, Aurora, daughter of my heart. There are Wolverine and Longshot. And look, many of the peoples of the Savage Land as well. Storm, they were not all slain.
Peter! Hey, Peter, guess what? Longshot, shh. Please, my friend. Quiet, you promised.
Daughter? Huh. That must have been some adventure.
It had its moments, Allison. As did the others.
There were more than one?
Welcome to my world, Marin. You heard your mom. No talking, no telling. Our lips are sealed. We don't breathe a word, not even under torture.
It is good to see you, sweet Solo Aurora. You've changed your hair again. Oh, sorry, that's something else.
No, that's her.
No, you're right. Sorry, again, a bit confusing on the word balloons there.
Change your hair again, yes. But you are always comfortingly the same.
Yeah, stuck in a rut.
Peter!
Nereal. You guys know each other?
Again, I love his acting. Like, the way he does body language is so good.
Yeah.
Like, you know that he's going to just wrap those arms right around that girl. Like, big hug. And Peter's face is so, again, cartoony in the right way. So cool. I love looking at all these characters on the boat too.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of weird folk, man.
Bunch of new
real
godsy kind of some things going on there.
But this woman, the queen, what's her name again? Marin. She does look right out of like movie serials.
Yes.
You know, 1930s and 40s.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
Black Spider says, "What's up, my dudes?
Hey, man.
I feel Art Adams didn't get enough work during the 80s and 90s. Oh, you know what? I think I get the sentiment there. Maybe you feel like we didn't get enough comics of his, but he definitely got enough work. He just is very slow. Whenever he wants to work, there is work for him to do.
Yeah.
Ever since he started, there's never been like a dry spell for him. He just chooses projects that either are slow for him or not. He just doesn't do a lot of interior art. If you are a comic collector, like me, who goes after particular artists, it is realistic to aim to get all of Art Adams' interior work. His variant covers are in abundance and sometimes rare and hard to track down because they come in different proportions than like not just 1-to-1 with every book release, but sometimes it's like a 1 in 50 to get an Arthur Adams cover. But to get his interior art for all of the things he's drawn, like you can do that. You can get all of it, I think. And that's something I do aim for, truthfully. Elsewhere.
Next time, maybe I should bring a book.
Rogue! Terminus is awake!
No fooling. Saw Flashy other sugar want him while I get us the heck out.
Go you shall, gnats. Far away from here and faster than you imagined possible. Never
Moved on
to
to gnats.
return.
What's that?
He's moved on to gnats from fleas.
Yes. But he hit them like out of the Savage Land into the snow, into the Antarctic.
That is your foe?
A self-styled ravager of worlds, who, in the X-Men, has met his match.
That's quite a lightning bolt.
It is awesome. And doesn't look like other lightning we've seen from other artists so far. I like how it's hitting him and shorting out his limbs.
Yeah, that's cool.
And going between his feet and the ground. Very cool.
Yeah, totally.
I have ripped the hearts from living stars, Earthling. I have nothing to fear from you.
That villain remains to be seen. Everyone aboard. First officer, sound the call to arms. Bare your fangs, my brave warhound, and attack!
That's crazy to imagine like a giant sky fox going up against this.
Cool.
Like, I'm down for this.
Yeah, totally down for this.
And then you get this great panel where it's sort of like the two boats passing.
Yeah, like a galleon type naval battle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marines warriors unleash a barrage that would do a Starfleet proud. And to their credit, Terminus is actually staggered. But he doesn't fall. And only could Jimmy's preternatural agility saves the Warhound from his return fire.
So much for my proud boast. Aurora, if we cannot breach that Titan's armor, Storm?
Be not alarmed, Marin. It is Psylocke, our telepath, contacting me.
Wait! Daughter, what are you doing?
Winning the battle, I hope.
Mind telling me how, darling?
In good time. Marin, keep firing. And keep Terminus's attention focused on you. Havoc, you heard Psylocke's call.
Barely. It was the commotion caught our attention. What do you want us to do?
Wait for my cue.
She's got a plan.
Better be good. I mean, how much harder can we hit this creep?
Psylocke. I hear you, Storm. Bring Rogue into play. And after Betsy passes on Storm's orders...
Long shot. Rogue, are you all right? Hanging in there, big guy. But only just. That was some hit. I need a favor, kiddo. May I please borrow your luck?
You mean use your power to take away mine?
It's the loneliest idea Storm's ever had, Longshot, but I think she's right. It's our only real chance.
You're my teammate, Rogue, and my friend, and you're smoking. How can I say no?
You're a lady, and I'm a man. What's happening? Longshot, don't! Rogue, you stole his power. Only because I had to, and because he let me. Don't worry, Songbird, it's only for a little while. I'll give it back. But in the meantime, you know what he does, including how he really feels about me. Say your prayers, you big buffoon, because your party's almost over.
When Longshot's motives are pure, his luck's a wonder to behold. I didn't know that.
Well, we're learning.
That's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, that same goes for Rogue. The difference being, she hits a lot harder, instinctively homing on that section of Terminus's faceplate, fractionally weakened earlier by the impact of Longshot's blades. Pshaw! The results speak for themselves.
Holy cow, Betsy was right. The critter's a robot. There's just this clown up in head running things.
Garak!
Cripes, he's got more lives than we do.
But he loves the savage land. Why would he wish to destroy it?
Fools. Or you're Terminus.
Well, I'm Terminus. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah, that's
Garak
right.
inside. He just wouldn't speak as slowly, I think, as and you can almost never get a voice as dry as it would need to be to like sound like it's this guy.
True,
anyway.
shriveled.
I am feeling like a sore throat anyway, so we'll see how that goes. Fools, it will avail you not to behold the face of Terminus.
Wizard of Oz was the same thing, chump. He was wrong too. You can only fight us if you're conscious. And once I absorb your power and psyche, you won't be. Ah, spit. He's like a bottomless well.
No, stop!
Don't know if I can take him completely.
Release me, woman.
Not a chance.
Now, Wolverine, while Rogue keeps Garak occupied.
My pleasure, boss.
I love that picture of him, like moving
Yeah, it's a fun one.
through.
He looks happy.
No, I meant the next one, like where you can feel the crisscrossing slices.
Yeah, totally.
And the way that like it popped and burst into sparks and stuff.
But all the cutting in a world won't matter a hoot if we can't disable the robot's flame and repair systems.
Leave that to me, pal.
Your turn, Allison. A photon blast at full strength.
Psylocke, pass the word to Storm. I'm giving it my best shot. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. Hey, I popped that Garak fella right out of his seat.
Once, oh man, I failed to save you. Thank the fates I have been given another chance and not been found wanting. I pray you do the same. Way back in X-Men 116 or classic X-Men 22.
I have you, Rogue.
As for the robot, it's almost as though Garak's life force was its sole source of power. Deprived of that sustenance, the monstrous juggernaut speedily ceases to exist. Another cool thing that Adams does in that transition, that triptych of the armor falling apart, having the rings like separate, as if it's like lost its integrity from the inside. He's just a very thoughtful drawer.
Absolutely.
And when the effects of Rogue's attack have worn off and Garak is once more himself, I'm sorry, I remember nothing. From the end of my last encounter with the X-Men to the moment I awoke here, nothing. By all the gods. The land, my beloved land. What has happened to the savage land? And the tale is told again of how Terminus laid waste to it. Terminus! But was it not? Could that destroyer have been me?
No, my friend, not you, but another who wore that accursed armor. Evolutionary. Have you considered the implications? If the last guy wasn't Terminus, and Garak isn't, then the real one must still be on the loose. Precisely, young Alex. And when he strikes again, you and your comrades must stand ready to stop him. So we're here for, sir. So, you the real are chief of the Fall people?
What remains of them? I am the sole surviving blood relation to Chief Tonga. It was my duty.
And who is this Riddler? I must be careful with the boy. With everyone, I am so strong I could snap his bones without thinking.
My son.
I like him.
The feeling appears mutual. Pang, pang. Ma'am, his hair is solid. Listen to the noise I can make with it.
He's wonderful.
He takes after his father.
Did he perish in the fire?
Pang, pang. We parted long before then.
I am sorry.
Doesn't make me care for him or cherish our child any the less. Pang, pang, pang.
Perhaps you will return.
Then he will be welcomed.
I cannot get over how much older you seem than the girl I remember.
I have lived through the death of almost everyone I knew and loved, Peter. Yes, ma'am? Not you, silly. Oops.
Eh?
We thought it was the end of the world. Then, miraculously, Marin appeared. Somehow she had espied what was happening and had come to lead us through the portal to safety in her world. Time moves differently there. Months for you were years for us. Marin made room for us at her table. We owe her a debt beyond all price. But while we have prospered with her and learned to be happy, can never be what this was, our home.
Do not despair in the reel of the fall, people. What once was may yet be again. As I told young Alex, I've devised a means to fully restore the savage land. It lacked only an activation catalyst to set the process in motion. Garrick, the petrified man, this disgusting man you see before you, is precisely what I've been seeking and has agreed to do his part.
And so, after repairing... Oh, it is the word repairing. Okay. After repairing to the heart of the High Evolutionary's citadel and the completion of appropriate preparations...
You must understand, my friend, if you undertake this process, you will cease to exist as a unique individual entity. Your essence and power will be transfigured into the land itself.
I have died more often than I care to count. One more does not matter, especially if my sacrifice will restore this land I cherish. What better end, I ask you, for man or God? Fella has brass balls, I'll give him that. Is something wrong, Wolverine? You've been tense ever since the battle ended. Maybe it's because part of me doesn't believe it has. Evolutionary spins a smooth line, but something about him rubs me raw, right where I'm tender. There's a scent here, Longshot, of danger. Before we go further, look at Longshot's t-shirt.
Is that a Flash t-shirt?
Yeah, or I don't know.
Shazam?
I don't know, man. Did Flash Gordon ever have a shirt with a thing like that on it?
I think he did.
Just it's a little odd for Longshot there, so I'm curious about what's going on.
Okay. Saladin, the small one, the berserker Wolverine, he suspects.
Let him. For all the hate we bear him and his accursed companions, we will give him not the slightest reason to act on them. We serve the High Evolutionary, and he desires the X-Men to leave this land in peace. The fools, they do not realize that by doing the Evolutionary's bidding, they help seal the doom of this world they are sworn to protect. A new order will rise from the ashes of our evolutionary war, and we mutates shall stand among those chosen to rule. That day cannot come too soon. I look forward to it almost as much as I do the sight of Storm's head adorning a pike
beside my throne.
Dream on, Saladin, in blissful ignorance of the fact that your dreams, like your fate, are not mine. I've little liking for many of the tools I'm forced to use, but a man must make do with what he has. At least, in this instance, my dream will have an immediate, tangible, positive outcome. I can taste once more the transcendent joy of true creation. Whatever else happens, I will leave this mark on my world, this legacy, and it will be good. So he can read her thoughts.
I guess.
I guess so.
And it was more quickly, more completely than any imagined.
I think
Maybe
that's
Storm.
the queen, or no?
Go with Queen, sure.
Magnificent! The land truly is reborn, more beautiful than before.
At last, I think, Gerok has found the purpose and peace he sought for so long.
And you, child of my heart, can you say the same?
I pray so. I do my best.
Aurora, I must go. Each time we part, daughter, I wish you would come with me. No longer to visit, but to stay.
Perhaps someday I shall. You mean that? Yes, but I am bound, like Nuril, like Marin herself, by prior responsibilities. The High Evolutionary's gone. His assistant said he left as soon as he was sure his process was a success. That, I suspect, is for the best. Also, I've also mind-touched everyone here, as you asked, so they'll remember what happened, and that someone helped them, but not quite who. This will become a battle not so much in reality, but out of legend. That too, my friend, is for the best. Gather the team. Like the evolutionary, our work is done. It is past time we followed his example and we're on our way. Time passes. Life returns to the old established patterns of normality. Awesome dinosaurs are drawn by an awesome artist.
Mm-hmm.
I see Brachiosaurus and Stegosaurus. Heroes depart, friends return.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Khazar, Lord of the Savage Land, and Shauna, my she-devil of a wife. Oh, and our baby boy, we're home.
What an ass. It's funny how, like, him coming in his safari suit, like
right.
with shorts, missing the whole fight, not helping with a single thing. Like, look, the king is back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome, Khazar. In the name of the United Tribes.
Nuril, your chief?
Much has changed, warrior, since we last met.
So I see. United Tribes.
We, survivors of the Holocaust, all the races of the Savage Land and Pangea, interesting, living in peace and harmony as a single people.
That's wonderful. Nuril, what's this obelisk?
And the symbol?
A tribute to those who aided us in our hour of in the hour of our greatest need and helped restore the savage land.
But who were they?
Legends. Legends. Sorry, I can't help.
That's good. I like that. It's good.
I like that Zabu is there, like the
Yeah.
Smilodon or whatever it's called. Sabertooth. Okay, Chris, before we go further, it is 1:45.
It is 1:45.
How about we read the X-Babies next week? What
I
do you
think it's a
think?
great idea.
Okay. We can probably do the X-Babies and the issue next week.
I think you're right. And I also understand why you want to do the X-Babies, not just because it's about X-Babies, but having turned the page now, obviously, it connects back to other comics that we read.
It does connect back, but also I just want to hear you do Mojo.
Oh.
Can you flip the page and show it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And yell that line in your Mojo voice?
I want my X-Men!
Okay, thank you. Oh my goodness!
Oh, good times.
Oh my goodness! Arthur Adams is so good.
Yeah.
So we did mention, if you don't mind, would you go to the final story at the very end?
Oh, of course.
And we will read the I Want My X-Men next week, just for the sake of time, everyone. There we go. So you can see right away we get this thing called The High Evolutionary, Chapter 7, Demon Knight. Chapters 1 through 6 we're not going to cover, so it would be silly to cover Chapter 7, Demon Knight. But it goes through the High Evolutionary kind of telling his origin. Right. And they're trying to make him a more significant villain within the not MCU, but within the Marvel continuity at the time. And if you continue to flip, it shows a pregnant woman approaching Wundagore, and the Bova, Lady Bova, like the cow lady, helps. She's bovine. She helps deliver. She's like the nursemaid, not nursemaid. What do you call it? Like a doula. Mm-hmm. Helping deliver babies, a midwife. As you continue to flip, there is the birth of the Maximov children. And there's the dude sitting with the Darkhold. There they are at the end.
Yeah.
So at the end, it shows basically Scarlet Witch and Pietro's mom holding the twins, but you see like a dude working with the Darkhold. He basically triggers it that it imbues baby Wanda with some mystical stuff, some dark mystical stuff that makes her not just mutant, but has that the witch side of her as well. Now, all this has been retconned out, which is one of the reasons we don't need to read any of it. It just doesn't matter. So for a long time, it was thought that this woman was either the wife of Magneto or maybe a girlfriend or whatever, Magneto's kids. Supposedly now it's been made that they're not his kids and they're not even mutants. They are mutates. They are children that came to Wundagore and are born there or whatever, and they are modified in a way that allows them to have their abilities, but they're not mutants at all. So what it comes down to is anytime a publishing company and the editors and whatever can just change the story and be like, yeah, it's no longer that story, now it's this story. Mm-hmm. It basically just means it really doesn't matter. It's up to the whims of the creators at that point. So okay, are they mutants? I don't know. Does it matter? I also don't know. Do I love either character? Not really. So it just doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just going to be cool with it. But yeah, there you go. That is the beginning and the end of this issue. That is a lot of comic. Looking forward to getting back to the X-Babies next week, in addition to the issue with Genosha, which I think is it 235 of Uncanny X-Men?
234? 35?
235. I think so. Yeah, there you go. So, anything else you want to talk about before we call it a night?
No.
Any thoughts on that story with the X-Men and Terminus and Garak and Lady Zaladane?
I mean, it's an annual, so it's a bit, a bit of a story that, even though they worked really hard to make connections to a number of things, feels very disconnected.
Sure.
And the High Evolutionary and Terminus and Garak, and sure, right. It feels like they needed a story for an annual, and they put this together, and then complemented it by adding backup stories in the classic X-Men. Yeah.
And I think something's going to come back to haunt And obviously, there's some plan that Lady or Zaladane
Right,
is
Zaladane.
and the mutates.
With
Sevens
that
and
weird
mutates
frog
together.
guy. We love frog guys.
Yeah, frog guys are so cool, though, right?
That's how that one talks.
Yes, definitely.
Katie, like he's got like braces, but he's just getting through it. It's just he's having a bit of trouble. Like Darla from Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo, yeah.
So I don't know if he's also Australian, but I mean, who knows? Could be.
Well, they're Antarctic, so it's not far off.
Right. It could be a frog that traveled. Yeah.
True. Also, I mean, I know I'm not the brightest. Who do you think that little kid was supposed to be? I mean, I really couldn't pick up the hints.
So, does that kid end up being a character, like later on, like a mutant?
I don't know.
They don't pick up on it. They
don't know. Don't care.
They don't use that as like an ex kid later.
Like, come on. If it hasn't happened yet, someone else will.
Like he has the ability to turn his mohawk steel. Like that,
right? Don't you want to see that kid?
Dude,
like a kid who's a hunter who has that ability too, and maybe
the Colossus kid,
the colossal kid, sure,
right. Colossal.
Whatever it is. Also, maybe he has. I mean, let's play with it. Like, there's a variant to his ability. It's not just exactly the same as his dad, if that is in fact his dad. But maybe there is, I don't know, another look to it, or
totally.
He can do part of his body at a time, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's something like that.
Like an arm and whatever. Like I'm into it. I'm into it. Little Peter.
Yeah.
Little Petey. Yeah. Just happy
that this time he works for KGB.
Sure. All right. We can call it there if you want to, because I know I'm
Thanks everyone for sticking around. That was a long one.
Yeah, it was, and I'm quite tired. And that brings us to the end of another episode. Thank you to my good buddy, writer of Group of Seven, A Most Secret Tale, and Peregrines, Flights, Fiends, and Fisticuffs, Chris Sanigan. Thank you, Chris. Good job. You can find out more about our comics and upcoming appearances at groupofsevencomics.ca and follow us at Group of Seven Comics on social media. Please click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with us your take on this issue or any X-Men comics, of course, in the comments section below. Give us your take on what Lil Petey, what his abilities should be, what he should look like, kind of stories he could have. Or is he actually a character and we just don't know because we never looked it up, because it doesn't matter to me. Who knows? Who knows?
And I also want to say shout out to new subscriber, Jason Fajardo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Just, hey, thanks for subscribing. I think we're up to 411.
We were up to 412 for a day and it dropped.
It's moving up. We're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting 400s. Let's go.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Go dig out your old back issues, your trade paperbacks, essentials, omnibuses, DVD ROMs, or hop on an app and read along with us next week on Previously in X-Men. Thank you, bubs, and stay Xy. I'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody.